Hello, welcome back to Extra Play and Tomb Raider, and the old man's getting away. Wait, oh no, I'm the old. Wait, who's the old man?
Hopefully you are not the old man.
Yeah.
That'd be quite a twist.
That would be.
And all along I've been an old man.
We're here with Josh Foreman, experienced industry vet, level and art design. Remind me, you're a specialist of some kind. What's your official?
Yes.
What's your official title?
Environment design specialist.
Environment design specialist. I bet that goes really well on a business card.
It's a mouthful. Actually, on my business card, I made a custom one because I didn't like environment design specialist.
Sure.
And I used my favorite criticism from my YouTube channel. Someone called me a middle-aged fat emo hipster. So that's what I go by.
So that's on the business card
yes.
now?
It was precious.
I remember at some point wanting to make myself a custom business card when like some commenter had been suggesting different titles that extra credit staff could have, and someone had suggested for whatever reason, just as the person who does all the narration, that I should call myself the Voice Admiral. And I don't entirely get it, but I actually love it. So I really should make official Voice Admiral.
That's good, especially if you can get some stars along the side of it.
Whatever. I'm a co-founder in this company. I can make up my own title. Okay, where do I go? Okay, I see one of these ropey things. I bet I can rope shoot to something. Maybe.
There's some kind of shoot 'em up holdout that happens here, if I recall.
Oh, it's just a ladder. Okay.
Or just go to the ladder.
All right, if you want to be pedestrian about it. Oh, geez.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay. This seems like boss arena space again. Oh, the ladder.
Not a chance, you bastard.
All right. So what's going on here? We've got a little area that you're in, and then a moat, and then dudes on the other side shooting at you from that one direction right now.
So let's see. What does it feel like they're directing me to do other than take out these guys? Oh geez, there's a guy probably calling in more dudes. I need that to stop. Ow. It's under control.
Yeah, I feel like the rain of explosions is telling you to go somewhere else. But sometimes it's hard to tell. And that's always the tricky gray area in these games.
Why do these guys all come with so many explosives? What are they planning to do? Ow. Ow. No! Oh, geez.
Let's see, you've got some melee skills now, don't you?
I do. Oh, that's right. I got some melee skills on the break. Someone else come close.
Got something special for you.
I do. Stop ringing the siren. Or whatever it's called. It's a siren. This is ridiculous. All these explosions. Melee! Ha! Look at that. Kabams! Yeah, that's right. I learned how to do that. Okay. Okay, that's not the gun for the job. Ow.
That arrow could not finish its journey.
There we go. Stop it. Stop it. Yep. Oh. That felt good.
Can you climb up that rope that knocked down?
Stop. Stop. Alright. Oh, I bet I could. I totally bet I could. And once the course is clear here. Probably wouldn't risk it when... Oh.
Lara, you're alive!
Just barely. Where are the others?
Still locked up inside, but I know where they are. Get up here and we'll get them out together.
I can't climb up there from here.
Ah, damn it. Well, they got some kind of setup for hauling cargo. Maybe you can use it to come around the other side.
All right. I'm on my way.
When it comes to traversing complex environments like this,
Yeah.
the current method is to have clear mechanical options such as jump on the rope and scooch up it.
Yep.
Climb up the ladder, climb up the ledge if it's got white on it, right? Everything else is a flat wall that you can't go, fence, whatever. You can't climb chain link for whatever reason.
Sure.
Right? So there's all these kind of arbitrary rules that we have. And I'm wondering if there's ever a time where those arbitrary rules go away. And if you could plausibly do it in real life, you can do it. Right? It seems like that's the trajectory that we're on.
That we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
I get the feeling we are a lot further from that than we than it feels.
Well, right, because we hide a lot of stuff with our environment art. We make you feel like it's unreasonable to do things that in real life would be reasonable, right?
Yeah.
That's how you try to sell it.
Sure.
But more players are scratching their heads and saying, why can't I jump over this waist-high barrier or just climb this chain link fence? The worse the experience is, and the more as a level artist, you want to go in and try to address that.
Sure. I'm feeling like the answer to actually solving that to where you can do literally anything you feel like you should be able to and interact with them in any way is kind of a impossibility. It's just it's infinity.
Quite possibly.
But
Well, so the way we're addressing it thus far is through animation blending systems, right? Where the legs can do some things, the arms can do some things, and it's all contextual based on, where you are in the environment and what type of interactable objects are around your character.
Sure.
So there's that whole field of animation design, and which fascinates me.
Me as well.
And I want to learn more about.
Me too. I'm learning quite a bit, but I've only been animating in games for a couple of years now, and that is, in some ways, that is a pretty long time in the game industry, and in other ways, that's no time at all in the game industry.
True.
So I've got so much left to learn, especially because I am so specialized. Like, having come in as an animator from film, there is a lot about animating for games that I've had to learn that I did not know coming in.
Yeah, a lot of things to unlearn and relearn.
Yeah, there's, I'm using the same tool set, animation, the principles of animation and what makes good looking animation are all the same, but it's being used for an entirely different purpose.
And you have to account for so many different contexts.
Yes.
Especially with blending.
Yeah.
If you don't know what your upper torso is doing when you're making the legs jump, right, then there's a lot of intrinsic limitations.
Yeah, they've got
what you can do with that.
Just the blending he's talking about here is that it's not just from going from one animation to the next, like going from walking state to running state, and there probably were 2 or 3 animations involved in that blend there, just the walking, the running, the standing still, and maybe a custom transition to start walking. But even just as I'm walking around, the way that Lara will stop to look, will kind of turn her head to look at something to one side, and it's not something that I told her to do, but it's kind of contextual based on the environment. That is an additive thing on top of the running around animation that is blending just kind of on top of it.
Yeah, so when they're animating that walk or that run, they have to kind of keep in their head she could be looking in any direction while she's doing this.
Yeah.
And there's also upper body and lower body differentiations, right?
Yeah, there can definitely be cases where the upper or lower body is doing something. Like if you have to, I guess it depends on how you build the game, but if you have to make a animation where if you have to make it so the character can reload their gun while running, you're probably not going to make a custom running and reloading animation. Some games might.
Because then you'd have to make a walk and reload and a crawl and reload.
Yeah. What would be much easier to do is to make a custom animation that only applies to the upper body, that is additive on top of running, that is the character pulling out the gun, reloading the gun, but the legs and all the other stuff that's already existing for running keep happening. And that's the sort of thing where you may that's where sort of animation design comes into play, figuring out what you need the character to be able to do visually and figuring out how to achieve that in a way that isn't just creating a million animations and going well beyond the scope of what you can actually do on your time and budget.
Yeah.
It's very, very complicated, and I feel like I've barely scratched the surface in my own understanding of it.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me, the ramifications that it has on level design, level art, because the characters are doing things now that, when I started in video games in 96 were unfathomable. Just the idea that you could jump towards a ledge and grab onto it and pull yourself up.
Yeah.
Whoever thought of that? Well, I guess Prince of Persia kind of did.
Yeah, they did. Like, it had kind of existed, but in a, like, it had existed, but in a, there's so much complexity and fidelity to that motion now, and like the, like, so much involved in making that look as nice and real and as clean as it does, like, because these are just a bunch of separate animations playing, but making them flow seamlessly from one to the next while still feeling responsive to you, like, kind of comes with its own rules. Like animating something in film, if I were to animate a jump, just a character jumping in place, I would have the character, I would spend probably at least half a second having the character crouch down, kind of swing their arms back, getting ready to, oh boy.
Yeah, the anticipation.
Yeah, the anticipation, that is our term for it, the anticipation before the jump. It's really important to really selling the physicality of a move and also kind of setting up the expectation in the viewer's mind of what's about to happen. But it's just really helps for clarity. But in games, I can do that, and I can give them like a half second to crouch down and get ready for the jump, and it'll look really nice, but it will feel terrible because you pressed a button and you wanted the character to jump, and then a half a second later, they finally jumped. And that feels awful.
Yeah, and so the go-to solution generally is to backload that, is to kind of put what's the opposite of anticipation, the follow-through or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So typically after a jump comes the big flourish or whatever you would call that, the artistic part that sells that this is not just a robot that did action A.
Absolutely, yeah, because that you can at least blend into and it still be in the character's control. Like me, I'm going to jump off this ledge here, down here, and you probably won't see much of Laura will probably kind of skip right into a jumping up into the air, flying through the air animation without doing any kind of like bending her knees really far, squatting down before jumping. But when she lands, there will be a whole big impact, fall to the ground kind of thing. So like, watch, here we go. Yep, barely any crouch, ow. But then there's the residual, because that, like, you expect as a player for that to happen, like for the character to feel the impact of the fall. But yeah, these are the sorts of challenges that game animators have to deal with, as well as just the sheer volume of animation you usually need to create. Yeah. So like there's like animating something for a film, I may be given weeks to animate something a few seconds long with a couple of characters, depending on the complexity of it. I may have, and it depends on what games you're working on and where, but I may have a day or two to do that in games, just because of the amount of animation we need to create to cover just the wide variety of stuff a character has to be able to do. Like, Laura has a lot of stuff that she's got to be able to do, especially in a AAA game. And like Assassin's Creed games, I keep bringing them up because they're kind of the logical endpoint of this, where there are thousands of animations for every single way those characters can interact with every single part of their environment that they try to climb through. And it's absurd. And it's more than most games can do.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, there's going to be a third-party solution the same way that we have Havok, and we'll have animation engines where you can pick a subset of whatever you want your game hero to be able to do, or NPCs, bad guys, that kind of stuff. But yeah, we do not have that solution yet, unfortunately.
Yeah, not a clean one. Like, there's kind of some glimmers of it. Like, you can purchase some motion capture libraries if just the animation content is what you need. It won't be custom for what your exact needs are specifically, but it'll get you a lot of the way there if that's your only way, like if you don't have access to motion capture facilities of your own.
Am I the only one who feels this way? But the vast majority of those libraries feels like Japanese women are doing everything.
Yeah, but that's exactly the thing. Like, you are going to need something specific for your character. Like, your character is going to need some specific way they move around, or you're going to need something specific for your game that library is not going to cover. But it may get you like 80 to 90% of the way there, and then you can alter those animations to get what you need. And there's also, that looked way more of like severe of an injury than just a threat. Like, by the time you're bleeding that much, I think you're done. Whoa.
Yeah, it's funny. This game feels very PG-13, 95% of it, and then 5% is just like
it's
Gorapalooza.
It's totally true. But there are also, like you were saying, like there are animation engines that are coming into play that have a lot of functionality and tools built in, like for like Euphoria and Morpheme are two of the high-end standard use tools for achieving that kind of crazy animation blending together and characters like cleanly like starting to walk and then walking and then stopping to walk and it feeling really natural and physical and all blending really well. It's not, that sort of thing is not accessible to the common person now. I mean, that software is really expensive, but still.
And really complicated.
And very complicated. Like there are people who will, like, you can make an entire career out of being good at just that one thing.
Yeah.
There are people who are. Right now, every day. But games are complicated, man. Again, I don't know how really great ones ever get successfully completely made. A lot of animation talk this episode.
It's interesting to me, just in the game industry especially. I feel like it's not so much in film how interdependent all the disciplines are. I mean, you could have a film where, you know, the gaffer is bad, or the lighting isn't, or the sets aren't top notch, whatever, and it's not going to make the whole film fall apart. And it's, or I guess a better example would be, say, the director of lighting is not good at his job. That doesn't make it so that the script falls apart.
Right.
Whereas the animation design has impacts that ripple across every system.
Yeah.
And vice versa, right? Like,
yep.
how good the level artist is at creating an environment that makes sense and works with the animations that you have designed. It's amazing how interconnected, interdependent, and complicated it all is.
Yeah, it's the whole mess of systems all interacting together, and it is, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Like, and not even just the fact that games are complicated that way, but also films have been around long enough, and the increments by which they change, like that medium changes and evolves, are so much smaller now that there is a established pipeline that pretty much every film goes through.
Yeah,
and like they may scale large or small, but like Hollywood has got the film, like how to make a film and all the people you need and exactly how to do that process down. Like they may not always do it well, the stories may not always be great, but just in terms of execution and making the movie, like, and all the people you need to do that, they've got that figured out.
Yeah, very specific heuristics for every role that's necessary. And in games, it's constantly evolving. You know, the same studio is going to change up their production pipeline every game.
Yep.
And it's just, you can't keep it the same. I mean, maybe if you're doing mobile games, you know, you can stay on the same platform, same, you know, all your tools and stuff may stay the same between two games, but even then, it's like everything evolves so fast.
And there are new disciplines that show up, like UX. UX is quite new, but it is total. But yeah, like, and the other interesting thing is, depending on the kind of games a studio makes, they will be built with a completely different array of personnel. Like, the studio I work at is not built to make, like, a certain other kind of game. Like, if we were to say, like, maybe we started out, like, maybe we're all about making MMOs, but then we tried to shift to making, say we shifted to making a Uncharted or Last of Us kind of thing, like this, that requires a different proportions of people in different kinds of jobs. Like, it requires different people.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
every AAA game like this that I know of has at least one programming genius guru who's like the top of his field, whether it's animation programming or shader programming, or I mean, you look at I lost the name. Who, you know, the guy who started id and Carmack.
Carmack, thank you.
Right. Yeah. So he's this programming genius who came up with all these incredible lighting and shading tricks that are now industry standards. But you know, those games had the place that they did because of these technological geniuses that came about and made these things possible. And I mean, the programmer. I mean. Okay, Another caveat: every team is a team, right? There are lots of multiple people, but my experience is there's always like one main genius dude. Unfortunately, it's almost always a dude, and yeah, they're so hyper specialized and hyper focused on this one thing that they're able to drive the medium to a new level in that area, and then that becomes the new norm, the new standard. So yeah, I forget what got me on that tangent,
So
but
we've been recording for a while.
something I've noticed.
So for those of you who we're getting kind of close to, I think this may be the last episode for this particular recording session for us. I think we may stop it once we're done with this one. But
Going all day.
but I actually didn't think we'd even get this far, so I'm proud of us. But for those of you who have been enjoying the discussion of art, especially like the and art design in this game in particular, turns out Josh actually has a YouTube channel of his own that actually has art tutorials on it.
I do.
So if any of you are here, you tell us a little bit about the kinds of tutorials you've got on your channel.
Okay, so right now all my tutorials are kind of physical based media, just because that's what I started in. So I do a lot of sculpting with Super Sculpey and other types of modeling and that kind of stuff. That's what's going on right now. I'm branching out. I'm going to be doing a lot more game design oriented material. I've actually got a project I've been working on for years now. That's near being ready to release to the public.
Sweet.
So, but I'm just saying, you should go to my channel. You should. Just go to Josh Foreman, search for Josh Foreman, and subscribe to it so that when that cool stuff does come out, you'll be ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you like sculpting and that kind of stuff, check out my tutorials. They're fun. They're a good time.
Yes, definitely go over there. I hear you tell me you have other like cool stuff on there as well, like
I've got all sorts of really random stuff. I've got this video I did a skit with my wife where did you see that Halbot meme that was, I don't know, a couple months ago? They had two Halbots talk to each other.
Did they?
And it was like this semi-romantic thing, but it's AI talking to AI, so it's really like awkward and stilted, but it almost made sense.
Sure.
So I did a live action version of that, and it's just super awkward and incredibly weird. And yeah, check it out.
No, variety is okay. We've got a channel where we talk about video games and history. And other...
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Isn't that something you see on every channel?
And yeah, it's a strange mix, but we seem to be kind of arcing toward becoming a general sort of educational video channel, which I have got no problem with.
Education is good.
Education's good. Especially if it can be made interesting, which is what we always strive for.
Yes.
That's the text I should have been reading both of these other last two times. Don't move, they'll see you.
They're actually telling you what to do.
Go now. Yes, sir. There we go.
Stop. Hold it. Almost got
This is just Simon Says here.
Oh, boy.
So if
We're not stopping till we get across this. You can do it, Laura. I mean, I'm not going to be any help, but you can do it.
This is where you need the skip gameplay button. Right?
I haven't actually gotten a chance to play it yet, but I hear the Uncharted collection actually does have a very different mode that kind of does strip out a lot of like that. If you want to play it much more like Laura. Okay, Laura, that was your fault. If you do want to play it much more like just kind of a movie that has some gameplay increments, they've like shortened the amount of gunplay sections, and I think maybe made some of the climbing stuff easier.
Oh, interesting.
That's what I hear. I don't know the specifics of how they did it, but I think that's a cool idea. There are some games that I would totally love to go back and play just in a more story way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if games like this that have lots of set pieces, but then they've got trash, experiences between. And I don't mean trashy, like low quality, but
I know what you mean. Yeah.
More procedural or systematic and less set piecey.
Yeah.
If it's the set pieces you love, I don't have a problem with accommodating people like that.
Yeah, totally. Like, oh gosh, in general, like if I could, I will probably not play Persona 4 again for a long time because it's an enormous investment of hours, and it's a game that I would Whoa. And it's a game that has tons and tons of just JRPG combat grinding dungeon stuff that I'm not, which is fine first time through, but it's not something I'd want to kind of go back and put myself through hours more of. If I could just go back and play the more story stuff and the social sim aspect of it by itself, I would do that all the time.
Yeah, growing up, I loved the JRPG template, and nowadays, if the combat doesn't have some unique mechanic to it that's not simply math, I just can't do it anymore.
If it's just math and menus, like
Puzzle Quest, I'd love it because I'm like matching gems, whatever. It's weird, but it's engaging your brain in a different way that just
totally. Or like, have you played Undertale perchance or seen it?
Yeah, I played a couple hours of that.
The bringing the shmup aspect into the turn-based like that's a cool idea. Like it makes it interesting,
absolutely.
And they get tons of cool mileage out of it too. But like at this point, you and I have certainly like done our time with the math and menus format JRPG combat that it's
not. My numbers are higher now. I can go. I can win now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we made it to a new cave. And I think here, well, you know what? Let's get to some sort of checkpoint so I can actually stop and save.
Good call.
Yeah, but then once I do, we will call it an episode and a session. And if you guys have enjoyed this, let us know, because I've had a lot of fun having like someone on who has the authority to talk about art stuff. We don't really have a lot of industry art, like game industry artists on our crew.
Authority is the right word.
You've been working in this industry for you've been working in games for what's the number of years again?
19, almost 20.
Listen, by game industry years, you are like the old monk sitting on the mountain. Like you are the sage. Like most people burn out after 5 years.
True.
I guess it's getting better. I bet the average is probably better since I last heard that statistic. I bet it's like 7 or 8 now, but still.
Yeah, definitely give feedback because I'm super excited about this.
Yep.
The whole idea of game developers playing games and talking about them it doesn't exist, and I want it to be a thing because I want to hear other developers talk about games.
Totally. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this, let me know. We can absolutely, if Josh is up for it, we can absolutely have Josh back. I am absolutely planning to bring in some other devs I know to talk about their areas of expertise about games they like.
You're next.
So yeah, it's. I think this is going to be fun, but maybe we'll come back and play more of this, or more likely, I think we'll come back and play something else.
Sounds good.
I've been enjoying this. Could use a checkpoint though.
A nose punch? Is that what you wanted?
That's a
nose punch?
I mean, one way or another, seems like we're getting to a stopping point.
All right, that's enough nose punching.
Enough. Camera's shaking probably a little more than it needs to here. I understand their
crew's got to get it all.
Yeah, I understand they are aiming for it to be that they kind of pair the camera shake to the discomfort or intensity level of what's going on, but there are lots of times when just a simple steady shot can communicate the same amount of information.
It's funny. It's become so ubiquitous. I cannot notice it unless it's pointed out to me anymore.
I don't notice it when it's when it's calm or when it's not going overboard. But it is
I think the first Hunger Games just broke me. There's just people having a calm conversation. It's like in an earthquake, and at that point, my brain just decided, okay, I'm done noticing this.
Yeah,
I no longer notice.
We've seen enough found footage style films that were Still though,
it's kind of violence and gore is the same way. I mean,
that's true. Actually,
none of this has had any impact on me whatsoever. It's there's some goopy red stuff. Okay. If I saw any of this in real life, I'd be horrified and probably, faint like a
totally
like a little girl.
Oh, much less than this would be terrifying. But in the context of of these video games.
It's like,
Nope,
look at that.
he's doing nothing.
There's a lake
for
of
me.
blood.
Yeah. I am numb.
Oh, now this is right out of The Descent.
Oh, totally.
Let's get down there. Come on.
Can't remember if bonfires are checkpoints or if checkpoints are checkpoints. I think this actually counted as a checkpoint. But on this wonderfully grim note, I think we will leave you guys. So thank you guys for watching if you've made it all the way this far, and we will be back with more stuff on Extra Play and hopefully some more guest developer commentaries sometime in the near future. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
See ya.
Jesus is grim. Bye.
Bye.